Okay, so here we are live once again with another Masters of the Universe Origins unboxing. And this is from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection, and this is Man-at-Arms. Now, I got Man-at-Arms like months ago at this point. I went ahead and picked one up and just did not get around to doing the video for whatever reason. And yesterday, when I finally finished up all the G.I. Joe figures that I had, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up Man-at-Arms because he's been waiting long enough. And oddly enough, a funny thing happened, almost as if like the universe was coalescing around me. It was announced that Idris Elba is going to be playing Man-at-Arms in the Masters of the Universe movie if it actually gets made this time. Personally, I think that this is a good casting choice. And I know, some people get irritated with the whole race swapping thing, but me personally, my philosophy on it is this: if you ignore the race of a character versus the race of an actor, and if you put that aside, and I still can't think of a better actor to play that role, then that's a pretty good casting. You know, like with Perry White when Lawrence Fishburne played him. Can I think of a better actor to play Perry White than Lawrence Fishburne if I set their ethnicities aside? No, I can't. Likewise, with Idris Elba, I can't think of a better dude to play Man-at-Arms than Idris Elba if I ignore the fact that, Idris Elba is a black man and this guy is actually quite pale. So, I mean, like, he's really pale. This is like the lightest Caucasian skin I've seen on an action figure recently. He looks like a vampire. Like, I don't have the Tila figure over here to compare, but if I did, maybe she's in this bag. I know I had her somewhere. There's some He-Man figures in this bag. I might have put her in this bag. No, doesn't look like it. She would definitely be at the top. Is she over there on the other side of the room? She's probably over there on the other side of the room. So I don't feel like going over on the other side of the room right now. It's just too cluttered. I still gotta pick it up some. But yeah, he is a really pale looking dude. We see there's like a really nice piece of artwork on the back, the Dragon Invasion, and Man-at-Arms using his stasis ray, includes stasis ray, twist and turn into powerful battle positions. Excuse me. Got Ram Man in there. He's going to be one of the upcoming figures in this series. I do have Man-at-Arms and I do have Skeletor. I have not seen He-Man nor Beast-Man at retail. I definitely need to get He-Man. I'm kind of on the fence as to whether I want to get Beast-Man or not, because I like for my Beast-Man to be furry, and the animated figures tend to get rid of some of that furry texture. So I don't know if I really want to fool with that. But let's go ahead and open this guy. It is kind of funny that of the two characters in the first wave here, I have the two that are out of all those four characters, I have the two that are voiced by Alan Oppenheimer. So that's kind of a funny thing. Let's go ahead and open them up. And there's that. And there's a comic book. And I've probably read this comic book before, but I don't remember, so we're going to flip through it real quick. Yeah, I've read this one before. Okay, I kind of figured it was the same one that came with Skeletor, since they are in the same assortment. Now, I noticed that mine has like this little piece of debris there. I'm hoping that's something that'll just come right out. I have no idea what that is. So like a piece of paper, an insect wing. I don't know. It's going in the garbage, whatever it is. It's gross. All right, then we got Man-at-Arms out of the package. No rubber bands, no rubber tabs, nothing at all holding him in. You know I like that. And then he's got two accessories with the stasis ray. And he's got two handles there from the grip, just like on the cartoon. And the mace, which is much larger than the mace that the original figure came with. And also, you can see, probably because of the animation, much less detailed. It does not have the little studs around the edge that Man-at-Arms mace had in the original toy. And it is one solid piece. It doesn't come apart or anything like that. Let's move on to talking about Man-at-Arms himself. All right, so, and I do believe that these are the same leg pieces that we saw on Skeletor previously. And so, unlike the original Man at Arms figure from the 80s, he does not have removable shin armor, and he has two pieces of shin armor. Of course, they greatly simplified the design of the shin armor, so it just kind of looks like the top of like a Batman boot, like an orange Batman boot. And I always think of it as orange, but this shade is I think pretty close to what he had on the original figure, and it is definitely more of a cheddar sort of school bus yellow kind of color. And we can see that it actually does have a back plate, so it looks like on the cartoon, and you can see where it opens up at the back. So you would have to actually take Man at Arms apart to get this armor off of him. So we're not gonna bother with that. But that's how it opens up. You would take him apart at the middle and take off the open this up and then take it off that way. I guess we will bother with it since now I'm doing it. But he's got like the standard Masters of the Universe torso underneath. So, and then these pieces on the arms, I'm sure would come off the same way. You'd have to remove his fists to get the armor off his forearms and pull the armor out of his pull the arm out of his shoulder socket to get the shoulder piece off. So let's go ahead and get that back on there so we can have a look at it. But yeah, much like the regular Master of the Universe Origins figures, the Filmation ones come apart, and you can mix and match the parts if you so choose. So the colors are very close to what the original action figure was, which makes sense because they were trying to stick very close to the colors of the original action figure when they did the Filmation TV series. The exceptions that I find are mostly on the head and on the belt as well. You can see that they oddly an unusual decision for an animated style figure. They actually chose to make the helmet and the belt in a slightly metallic blue. So it's molded in like a pearlescent blue plastic. I don't know if you can see that, and then kind of a metallic blue paint on the belt. And this is an unusual decision because usually when they do animated figures, they tend to go for more matte colors, so they look more cartoonish. But if you remember, Tila did have actual gold on her bodice and wristbands or armbands and everything like that. So, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. But you would more. I'm not complaining. I think it looks good. But you would more expect it to be that sort of matte blue kind of thing. And as I noticed before, his skin color is very pale and not that sort of. He was more pale than He-Man in the original figure, but it still had kind of a pinkish quality to it, a ruddy quality to it. And this guy is just. He needs some sun. He's he's been in the workshop too long. But there's some good detail on this armor, and of course, it being Filmation style armor, it obviously is a lot more simplified than what came on the original figure, but it still captures the detail that we had on the cartoon quite well, even with the little blaster that he has on his wristband. So we can pose him as he was often posed when he would blast somebody with his wristband on the show. So that's cool. So let's go ahead and talk about his articulation. So Man at Arms can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilts his head kind of quizzically from side to side. Head rotates all the way around. His arms rotate all the way around at the shoulder, and they are at a slight angle, how like the vintage figures were. But this is also like on a ball joint, so he can move his arms up about that far. He has a single joint of articulation at the elbow. Elbow extends about that far, bends about that far, almost a 90-degree angle, and then rotates all the way around. He has a single joint of articulation at the wrist. So his wrist rotates all the way around, and then it has a horizontal hinge, so it moves back and forth like that. There we go. He has a single joint of articulation at the waist. So the waist rotates all the way around. He can kick up about that far, which is not really that far, but he's kind of muscle bound. So what are you going to do? And then a single joint of articulation at the knee, bends about that far, so almost 90 degrees, extends about that far, and then of course that rotates all the way around. And he does have a boot cut, so the boot rotates all the way around. And then he's got rocker ankles that go down about that far, go up about that far, and then rotates all the way around at the ankle. So let's go ahead and talk about these accessories. They already noted that the stasis ray had appeared on the episode Dragon Invasion, and this is probably one of the more popular gadgets that that Man-at-Arms has used on that show. Oftentimes when you see a Filmation style Man-at-Arms figure, he comes with the stasis ray. So there he is, got two handles on either side to hold it, and blasts away in stasis. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Phantom Zone projector from Superman. I mean, it's like if you imagine a walk at the front end of it, then that's kind of what the Phantom Zone projector looked like a lot of the times. But especially like the animated series version of the Phantom Zone projector. But yeah, it is a really nice piece of artwork that we have there. Like I said, most of these Filmation figures have references to specific episodes on there, and I think that honestly is a big part of the fun of these figures. Is like for those of us who grew up watching the show, we'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that episode where he had the Dragon Invasion and the Stasis Ray. I remember all that. But he looks really cool with the Stasis Ray. Unfortunately, since it is a two-handled contraption, he can't really hold it in one hand. He's got to always hold it in two hands. So that means he can't dual wield with the mace, which would be really cool. But I suppose if you really want to, you can get one of the Castle Grayskull rifles and put it in his hand. So the mace looks really good. I like that it's a nice, big, imposing looking mace. One of the problems I thought with the mace that came with the original Man-at-Arms in the vintage line is it's just kind of small. It almost looks like a microphone or something. And anytime you see like they do a later version of the figure, like the 2000X or the Classics or something like that, they tend to buff up that mace and make it like really big and intimidating looking. And then when Origins started again, he just went back to having that tiny little mace, and I'm just kind of like, aw. Now, obviously, like I said, the details are quite simplified on this mace versus the original one, so it doesn't have that sort of like rigid section here, and it doesn't have the studs around the sides. But it's still pretty cool looking. And like I said, that's how they drew it on the cartoon. So, that's just how that's going to be. So, pretty cool figure. I kind of wish now I hadn't sat on him as long as I did. Oh, you'll see the stasis ray is the same kind of metallic blue color as his helmet. It's molded in the same plastic. And also, I should point out, I didn't point this out earlier, that the flesh color is a separate piece of plastic from the rest of the helmet. So you're not going to have to worry about paint rubs too much on this guy, on his head. So that's good. Paint rubs would occur maybe, at the orange parts of the helmet. So I guess be careful with those. And of course the eyebrows, the mustache, all that stuff is painted on. He does have the mustache, of course, because he's Filmation Man-at-Arms, and that was where they actually introduced the mustache to the character. The original figure, of course, was clean shaven. And they pretty much, I think, put the mustache on him because they wanted it to be obvious to the younger kids that this was an older character. So that did kind of age him up a little bit. What with him being like a mentor type figure to He-Man and, the father to Teela and everything like that. So Man-at-Arms is always one of my favorite characters on the cartoon. I always like characters who use their brains. And he was an inventor and a strategist, and I just thought that was really cool. So if they ever actually get that He-Man movie made that they've been trying to make for, God, it must be like 30 years now. They've been trying to make another live action He-Man. I think Idris Elba is actually a good choice. I think he's going to do a good job in the part. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does it. So if it ever actually comes, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's not too much you know, BS that they put in a lot of the modern movies these days, and they just try to give us a good movie. That's all I want. So I mean, like I like the cast of it for the most part so far. Like I've always been a big fan of Allison Brie, and I really liked Camila Mendez on Riverdale. So I look forward to seeing both of them as their respective characters. I don't know really anything about the guy who played who's supposedly playing He-Man. So I can't really judge too much on him one way or the other. I will say that the rumor that I heard that they were going to get Jared Leto to play Skeletor, I'm not too fond of that idea. Like like putting aside like how I feel about Jared Leto as an actor or anything like that, I'm just like, dude, don't cast Jared Leto as Skeletor. He will literally cut off his own face to play the character. You don't want him to do that to himself. Just for his own sake, don't cast him. Uh, nobody's ever going to be a better Skeletor than Frank Langella anyway, not in live action. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Man-at-Arms, both this figure and the character in general. I'll be back sometime next week. I'm going to take Sunday off like I usually do. But sometime next week I will be back, and I will do something else, but I haven't really decided what yet. I know I've got like one of the new Batman 66 figures in, and I've got another one that's supposed to come in today. What else do I have? I have a whole bunch of McFarlane stuff. Oh, I know what to open. So I think the next thing I'm going to open up is going to be this thing, because I've been sitting on that for a while. So we'll go ahead and open up our Spin Master 89 Batwing, because I definitely need to get on that. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.